Hello and welcome to the CSU application webinar for spring 2021. We are going to cover several items that will help you to successfully complete and submit your application. Feel free to begin your application and start and pause this webinar as needed. So if you want to go back and forth, you can definitely do that. So the agenda for today, we are going to cover the transfer minimum eligibility requirements and what those look like. We are going to talk specifically about Fresno State's admissions announcement for the spring 2021 application period. We'll go over the transfer application checklist. We'll talk about application creation and how to get started if you haven't already. And then we'll just work through the application as well as discuss common mistakes to avoid going through the application. So how do you know if you are eligible for spring 2021? Well, there is something called minimum eligibility for upper division students. And what that looks like for the CSU is 60 transferable units. So for State Center Community College District, including Reedley College, any course on our campuses numbered 1 through 99 would be considered transferable. So for example, if you're looking at English 1A, you look at that number right after the course abbreviation. You don't have to worry about the letter associated with it, for example, the A. So is that one between 1 and 99? Yes, it is. So for that course, it is going to be transferable. You do have to have a transferable GPA of a 2.0. 30 units must come from GE and must be completed with a C grade or better. You do need to also be in good standing at the last college or university attended. So meaning you do need to still be in good standing with Reedley College. And you must complete what the CSU calls the Golden Four. So that would be your written communication, oral communication, critical thinking, as well as your mathematics course. So for Reedley College, it's going to be a comm class, your English 1A, for example, as well as a critical thinking. So that could be maybe Comm 25 or English 2 or 3. Or one of our philosophy courses that fulfills that area. And then within the math, that's the area B4. All of those must be completed with a C or better as well. Your minimum requirements must be completed by the end of summer or fall term. So it depends on your campus, and that's prior to spring transfer. So you can't take any spring classes, spring 2021. Check with each CSU campus that you plan to apply to for additional requirements needed for spring transfer. So this is just the minimum eligibility requirements. And please note that being eligible is not the same thing as being competitive. So with many of the CSUs, we're seeing higher GPA requirements. We're seeing, specifics within the major that need to be completed before transferring. So it's really important to note that being eligible is not the same thing as being a competitive candidate. So this is specific to Fresno State. So for spring 2021, they have made an announcement. They continue to be an impacted campus. So it just means that there's more qualified students who are applying to Fresno State than they have seats available to accommodate due to funding. So in order to ensure that the capacity is not exceeded, they are more rigorous with their application pool. So they're more picky. And when you're looking at applying, I would definitely recommend to apply broadly, because even though you meet minimum eligibility, it does not guarantee you admission to Fresno State. For spring 21, it is going to be open to new, so you can't be a returning student from Fresno State, a new local or non-local upper division transfer. So if you do not have those 60 units minimum, those transfer units, then you're not considered an upper division transfer and you would not be eligible at this time. An associate degree for transfer, or AdT as it's known by, is not required for admission for this spring. Due to impaction, unfortunately, we will not know the GPA requirement until after the application filing period ends. So we don't know that cutoff number at this point. So it depends on how many applications they receive. It depends on how competitive those applications are, and then the number of enrollment spaces that are available. All upper division transfer requirements, this is really important for Fresno State only. You can look at other campuses to see what their announcements are, but for Fresno State specifically, all of your upper division requirements must be completed by the end of summer 2020 for your application to be considered. So this means courses taken fall 2020 will not be considered to satisfy those minimum requirements. So those 60 overall units, the Golden 4, the GPA, all of that. So please refer to the previous slide for those admissions requirements, because these do have to be completed by the end of summer. Applications must meet program GPA thresholds with all transferable grades through summer 2020. So same thing, summer 2020 is their deadline for the spring. Now, if you're not going to meet that deadline, you can still wait and apply for the next application period for fall 2021. And that application period will be between October 1st and November 30th. Please note, if you are earning an associate degree for transfer, the AdT must be posted on your official transcript, and that official transcript must be submitted to Fresno State's admissions office by September 15th in order for you to receive that 0.1 GPA bump. And please note that Fresno State will not be accepting late applications. So I wanted to talk briefly about Fresno State's major impaction. So we know at the campus level that they are impacted, as well as within the major. So not all majors are impacted, but the admission threshold for each major does vary. So it depends on the capacity of the major to take in new students and the number of students applying for that particular term. Please note that the following undergraduate programs will be closed for spring 2021. That's sociology, social work, as well as nursing. So please feel free to contact the Fresno State rep for questions regarding those closed majors. And again, keep in mind that you can apply to those majors in fall 2021. We do encourage you to apply for whichever major it is that you intend to earn a degree. A change of major is prohibited during the application and admission review process, but after you are admitted, a change of major is never guaranteed, but it is by petition only. So please note that your mandatory orientation, your advising session, your registration, it'll all be based off of your major of choice. So if you're just trying to get accepted and then you want to switch into something later on, there's no guarantees. You would have to go through a petition and speak to personnel at Fresno State to make that happen. If you are interested in reviewing the median GPA for fall 2020 admits, feel free to view Fresno State's website. They have all of that information available. So we do encourage you to apply broadly. So that way you are increasing your opportunities. Please note that there is an application fee of $70 per campus. And if you do qualify for the fee waiver, you can apply to up to 4 CSU campuses for free. So we encourage you to have backup options. So that way, if you do get denied, you have other options, to consider, or you can simply wait for the next application period. So for the transfer application checklist and what you need, you will need your unofficial transcripts from every college and university you have attended. So even if you took a course while you were in high school, or if you started off at one campus and let's say didn't finish there, you will still need all of those unofficial transcripts. You will need any test scores that apply to you. You will need your social security number if you have one. You will need to know your citizenship status. You will need to have a method of payment, such as a credit or debit card, if you are not eligible for the fee waiver. And then if you are planning to apply for the EOP program, you will need either yours or your parents' employment background information, as well as 2 recommendations. So to start your application, this would be the link. It's www.2.calstate.edu/apply, and you'll see the screen that looks identical to what it's pictured here. To launch the application, you will go ahead and create your username and password. Make sure that you keep that handy and don't forget it. So save it in your phone, or write it on a piece of paper or a sticky note on your laptop, whatever is going to help you. When you do begin the application, make sure to fill out every question completely and accurately. So when you are completing your profile, you will go in and you will put in a degree goal. So what degree, credential, or certificate are you applying for? So it's going to be your first bachelor's degree. They are not allowing, for most campuses, second bachelor's degrees. So this means this will be your first time earning a bachelor's degree. And then it asks, which of the following best describes your current educational status? And so this is sometimes where students get a little confused. If you are currently at Reedley College and you are pursuing an associate degree for transfer, also known as an AdT, or commonly referred to as an AAT, which would be Associate of Arts for Transfer, or an AST, Associate of Science for Transfer, then you will go ahead and select this here where it says transferring with an associate degree for transfer awarded by California Community College. If you are working on a local, or maybe what's called a traditional associate's degree, so an associate of arts or an associate of science, but it is not for transfer, it is not an AdT, then please go ahead and select this transferring from a community college or four-year institution. And if you are selecting that you're receiving an associate degree for transfer, it's going to bring up this drop-down tab. So you will need to go in and select your main campus. So if Reedley College is your main campus, select Reedley College. And then that AdT, you will go ahead and put down the one that you are currently pursuing. If you are not receiving the associate degree for transfer, so if you're just transferring or you're doing a local associate's degree, make sure that you're reading every question carefully and not asking, because right here when you're looking at how many units you'll have, they're not asking how many units you currently have. They're wanting to know how many will you have once you enroll at the CSU to which you are applying. So please note that less than 60 semester units would be a lower division transfer. And for this go around, Fresno State is not accepting lower division transfers. So most everyone should have greater than or equal to 60 units prior to transfer. So this would be that upper division transfer. Okay, so citizenship status. So you will go ahead and select the citizenship status that you currently have. If you do not have a social security number, or if you're unsure, please feel free to select none. Now, when we're adding programs and majors, please note that you will select the campus Delivery format, it'll ask if you're looking at face-to-face or online. Because of COVID, I'm not sure how delivery formats will be listed. So I would suggest to keep it open to all formats, but that's definitely up to you if you want to set those parameters. But you can go ahead and select your campus and then select your major. And please note, you see this tip, some programs are listed as pre, for example, pre-business. So if you're not finding it under business or whatever your particular major is, try searching under pre. So please note that if you've selected an impacted major, then you are going to be prompted to select an alternate program. Such as a backup major or a similar or related major. So for example, if you were wanting to get into a business major and let's say that program is impacted, a possible alternative program might be economics. So that's just one example, but you can search the website or the campus site to see various programs and majors and possibly related majors as well. So here is what your application dashboard will look like. We are not going to cover your personal information. You should have all of that information. Please refer to maybe your parents or guardians if you need any help with that. So we're going to actually jump right into the academic history and that information. But please note that this information here in the red is all specific to the CSU application, whereas the program information is campus-specific questions and information. So for your academic history, please note that the CSU uses self-reported coursework to calculate your overall GPA and to determine your eligibility for admissions. So if you fail to report any coursework, then it will definitely affect your eligibility and it could result in a denial. So please keep that in mind. If you think that they're not going to find out that you took one class at COS a few years ago, it is all reported. So make sure that you are properly self-reporting all of your academic history. In the academic history quadrant, transfer applicants will enter detailed information about their educational background, and all tiles within the quadrant must be completed for that section to be complete. So you'll see it'll track your progress. So right here it says 0 out of 8 sections completed. Once you've completed all of them, this will all turn green, and then you'll know you can proceed. So colleges attended. Again, you must enter all colleges attended. If you took courses at one of our sister campuses, such as Fresno City College or Clovis, you must add those colleges on your application. When you are looking at the transcript for State Center Community College District, you will see there's number systems on the far right. So if you see a 1 next to a course, that means that course was completed at Fresno City College. If you see a 2, the course was completed with Reedley College, and it also includes the Madera and Oakhurst centers. And then if you see a 3, you'll know that the course was completed through Clovis Community College. So just refer to your unofficial transcripts, which you can locate on WebAdvisor. You can pull those up absolutely free for the unofficial transcripts. Please go ahead and enter when you're on the screen your first semester and last semester that you've attended each college. And if you took a course while in high school, enter the first semester as it's shown on your transcript. So even if you were still in high school, you're going to put that down as your first semester if you did some type of dual enrollment course. And then you'll see you will check the box here under your last semester if you are still attending that college, because they want to know if you have more coursework that you will be transferring in. A quick COVID update. All of the 23 CSU campuses have stated that they will accept credit or passing grades for all transferable college courses that were completed in spring or summer 2020. And this includes courses taken to satisfy any one of the Golden Four, as well as all general education courses and any major prerequisite courses. On to transcript entry. So again, complete the transcript entry tile, entering all courses, and this will include anything that you've taken that's been repeated, or if it was a prep class, even a non-transferable course, you're going to add everything onto the transcript. So make sure that you have those transcripts handy. It is very advisable for you to start at your first term and then just go semester by semester. And it's okay if you have semesters that overlap. For example, if you took courses at both Reedley College and Fresno City College during the same semester, that's completely fine for those semesters to overlap. And then please note that you will select an academic status that corresponds to the number of units you've completed at the time you began that semester. So you will never submit that you are a junior or a senior on an application. Please note, for junior college students, a freshman would be considered anyone who has completed 0 to 29 semester units, and a sophomore is declared as someone who has 30 to 60 or more units. So transcript entry, again, make sure that you're entering everything exactly as it appears on your transcript so that there's no issues later on. Make sure that when you are selecting the subject area that it closely relates to the course code that you've provided. So for example, this English 1A, the subject matter would be English. And then when you're putting in the units or credits, units and credits can be used in the same meaning. So for example, English 1A at Reedley College is a 4-unit class. So here you would select the unit or credit number, and it's 00 because it's just 4 units. If you were to take a course that's a half a unit, then in this drop down you can select those unit markers as well. Please click on this transferable box for all courses that are transferable. So again, courses numbered 1 through 99 are considered transferable from our district. Now with course repeats, you will make sure to enter in the grade as it's listed on your transcript. If you have repeated a course, there will be a bracket around that grade. So that's something to note. And you will need to make sure that you state RP for repeated for that particular grade. Refer to bracketing on transcripts. So if you had multiple attempts, you'll want to refer to however it's bracketed on your transcripts. If you have any specific questions, you can refer to a counselor because sometimes this can be tricky if you repeated a class multiple times. RP can only be added twice for the same course, and you are not going to replace a W attempt with an RP grade. So if you have the W, you are going to just leave the W as is. Okay, for academic renewal, so if you submitted a petition to alleviate a course grade, or if you've heard that, I did academic renewal, you will go ahead and put that in on your transcript on your application under grade as AR. So make sure that you're reviewing all of your entries, comparing them back to your transcripts, so that way all courses have correct unit and grade values. And this does include the non-transferable courses as well. as well as the withdrawals and repeats. Once your application is submitted, I think this was already stated, but just as a reminder, you cannot make any coursework changes once the application is in. So keep that in mind. Test credit and CSU GE. So if you have any AP, IB, or CLEP exams that you have completed and they have been submitted and they're in the system, you do need to make sure that you're entering this in as coursework. So you would add the test credit to the first term of attendance. So under that first term, you will add in AP, IB, or CLEP, or any other exams that you've completed. And then the application will allow you to include in whether you put in the test credit. And so that way it's calculated into your total for your overall unit count. So this is working towards those 60 unit requirements for upper division transfers. You will still need to enter in your AP and IB test information along with your all academic history in this quadrant. And the CSU does award credit for tests based on the CSU policy, not what other colleges or universities may award. So please note that you can review the CSU test credit policies online, because the way Reedley College interprets the units and the credits is not necessarily the same that the CSU will interpret it. So please keep that in mind and see a counselor if you have specific questions. Okay, so once you have entered in your transcripts and reported all of your institutions, make sure that you save your information, and then you're going to confirm that you have completed all of your entries, and then you'll go ahead and save your transcript. If you decide to go back and edit coursework entry without saving, be sure to select Save Your Transcript again if you do make any changes. Okay, so for general education, after you've completed all of that transcript entry and you've put in all of your courses and your units and so forth, then you're going to go to the general education section and complete the required GE course identification. So they're looking for the golden 4. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into this drop down section, and it's going to pull up all of your courses that you've entered, and you're going to go ahead and put down those golden 4 areas. So the critical thinking, the oral communication, written communication, as well as the math. So you'll do that from your drop down. Please do not select, I am not adding any general education courses, because your application will automatically be denied, because you must have the golden 4. That's one of the key things the CSUs will be looking for. So again, we've kind of addressed this, but I want to make sure that it's really clear that these golden 4 courses are required for admission. So you can find these courses on your transcripts. If you look on the left-hand side of your transcripts, you will see the course code, and you'll see what area it fulfills. And so, for example, here we see area A1, COM 1 is fulfilling that requirement. For area A2, that English composition, we're seeing English 1A. And for most of you, it's going to be English 1A or English 1AH if you're in the honors program. And then for area A3, that critical thinking area, for example, on this transcript, it was the English 3. And then for the math in area B4, you'll have whatever course you have completed. Please note that Fresno State engineering majors are exempt from area A3, as Fresno State does give a GE waiver for that critical thinking area, only for engineering majors at this time. So once you have verified each category has its designated course, you are going to save and continue. Please note that upper division transfer applicants must complete all of their transferable coursework with a C- or higher for all 4 of the golden 4 categories that are listed. And again, do not select that I'm not adding any GE courses. And do not leave any subject areas incomplete. Again, if you have questions, please let us know. If you are interested in the Educational Opportunity Program and Special Support Programs, the EOP program, you can complete that portion of the application. Please note that, if all of your parents' education is a 2-year college graduate or less, so if they were only attended a junior college, and if you have the income need as well as the residency requirements, then you will be eligible to apply for the EOP program. And we do encourage all students who are interested or who may think they qualify to apply. Veterans, if you have military credit, you can upload copies of your DD-214 and joint services transcripts. So make sure that you are documenting any credit awarded for military service and training. Although it's not entered under transcript entry, campuses will review your uploaded documentation and request official copies later on in the admissions process if it's necessary. If the community college you're attending is applying military credit to meet your 60-unit requirement for transfer, those may be entered as one course under the community college course in the following way. So the course code would be military course, the title DD-214, the subject would be special topics, and then you would enter in the value of your units, also known as credits, for the assigned community college transcript, and your grade would be considered as a CR for credit. Supporting information. You can add your achievements here, so any awards or honors or presentations, scholarships, publications that you have, you can add under this supporting information. Program materials. So when you're looking at specific CSU campus questions, you're looking to answer your major or program of choice, impaction related questions. So they're going to ask potential prerequisites as well as any unofficial transcripts that they may be requiring. And again, you will see that it will automatically turn green once you have completed everything. And if there is no campus supplemental requirements, then you'll see that it is already automatically green, and that means there's nothing more that you need to do. So once all 4 quadrants are completed, then you're ready to submit your application. So you'll see that they are all green and it states sections are completed. And that's when you can go ahead and submit your application. So a payment or waiver are required at the time of your application submission. So there are various payment options, so you can pay various ways. Again, if you do get the fee waiver, then you are eligible to apply to up to 4 campuses. Fee waivers are calculated based on your application responses. So please be sure that you are entering in information accurately as you are submitting your personal information. Some common mistakes to avoid. Avoid using the back arrow before completing or saving a section. Be sure to avoid incorrect biographical information such as your legal name, birth date, citizenship, address, etc. Incomplete education history or missing records. and then not reading or responding to CSU application related emails. So make sure that you are checking back frequently, that you are checking your portal, that you are checking your CSU email, to be sure that you are abiding by any requests the CSU is sending, and to also meet any deadlines for transcripts, AdT verifications, etc. So please note that for submitting required documents for Fresno State specifically, they are requesting that you send your official transcripts showing the summer 2020 grades and any fall 2020 coursework in progress by September the 15th. So you can do this by going onto the Reedley College website. You will hover over admissions and aid, and in that drop down, please select ordered transcripts. You will send those over to Fresno State electronically. October 31st is when your associate degree for transfer verification is due. This is something that we as counselors will submit on your behalf, but you do need to make sure that when you are in the application that you are selecting that you are going to earn an associate degree for transfer, as well as you need to apply for your degree on WebAdvisor. So if you haven't already, make sure that you go in and apply for your degree on WebAdvisor, so that way we know that you are planning to earn that AdT. Early January, you will need to order your final official transcripts once fall 2020 grades are posted. For the AdT verification, the CSU system will need you to verify that you are in your final courses for completion of the associate degree for transfer. So again, this is just you filing a petition for graduation through WebAdvisor, so that you will receive the AdT upon completing your final semester. If you select that you will receive an AdT on your CSU application, again, the Reedley College Transfer Counselor will electronically verify your completion of the AdT degree, so you do not need to send anything specific to the CSU campuses. For additional assistance, we are going to be offering CSU application virtual counseling assistance. You can sign up for that on the Reedley College Transfer Center webpage. Please note that these sessions do require pre-registration. They are limited to 15 students, and there will be one-on-one counselor breakout rooms within this Zoom link that you'll be sent. So please note that you will be assisted on a first come, first serve basis, and it is going to be beneficial for you to have a laptop or a desktop computer in order for you to be able to share your screen, which shows the CSU application. So it'd be best for you to be logged into your application. And if you have a specific question, you can make sure that you pull up that particular screen that you need help with. So that way we can help you in a timely and efficient manner. For more in-depth assistance, please feel free to make an appointment to see your pathway or program counselor. Here are all of the main centers that I could think of and their contact phone numbers if you do need assistance with making appointments. We will have our Fresno State representative coming out virtually, if you will, in the fall. So please keep an eye out on our Transfer Center website. We are also now live on Instagram. So Reedley College Transfer Center, if you are on Instagram for important dates and upcoming events. But we thank you for your time and attendance and hope this was helpful, and hope to see you at the virtual counseling assistance if you still need help.